Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, well, correct the error. Everybody can talk now. The reason why we mute everybody before that. Okay, good evening to you all. We are all welcome to day 4 of our 14 days data science workshop by Brave Force Technologies. You are all welcome. Yes, before we start today class, we'll take recap of yesterday class and also lay some rules down because yesterday we have some glitch which lead to us setting some rules for the meeting, and if we not comply with it for all the participants, maybe we just resort to some people being kicked out of the class after some warning. Please, when a facilitator is talking, please do not talk. If you have any question to ask the facilitator, please raise up your hand before you even wait till the facilitator says you should unmute your mic and talk before you now talk. That's for the mic. Also, when the facilitator is presenting, no one is allowed to share screen except the facilitator, please. And when the class is going on, let's keep our mic muted. Also, when the presentation is going on, nobody should turn on video so that we can have smooth class, and you can now, so that you will not be distracting others, because when we have slide showing, the facilitator's face is also showing, and you also turning on your camera, you will distract other participants because they'll be distracted with your camera. When you are not talking or saying anything, it's better you switch off your camera. Let's see what the facilitator is doing. I think the rules are clear. If you have any question on these rules, please ask before we start the class proper. because we'll be starting this class 8:10 dots. If you have any question, just raise up your hand and we'll give you room to ask the question. And also, before we start today's class, we also give room to entertain. We give 10 minutes for us to entertain question from yesterday class. If you have question from yesterday class, you can ask. That's by 8:20, today's class will kickstart in earnest. Please, you can ask your questions. And if there is no question, I can just invite the facilitator for today's class to start the class if there is no question. But if there is question, please let's ask. We are waiting. As we are also waiting for us to ask question, I can also ask people's question. Are we all able to perform the task from yesterday class? The task from yesterday's class is each and every one of us should look at the data set from yesterday and the question from yesterday, and we take the exercise. And after we take the exercise, we screenshot, post it on any of the social media, either LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. Tag Brave Force Technology, and by the end of all the classes, you will submit all these tasks that will be given to you every day. And after the classes, we start our project. That's it. Please, the person that want to talk should please talk because we still have 10 minutes for question from yesterday class before we start today class. But if there's no question, I can just call on the facilitator for today to just kickstart our class. Okay, you
Hello.
shall with one.
Mm, Yeah. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Okay. My question is regarding the yesterday's class.
Okay.
The workbook that was sent, it contains like 7 sheets, and we only worked on the first sheet yesterday. I don't know. Are we to read the manual, then do the other sheet by ourselves, or there will still be a class that will be held for example that can read the other sheets, or we have to do that by ourselves?
Only the first sheet that we treated yesterday, that's what we work on. You can do the other sheet to just practice and build yourself on Excel. But
Okay.
the focus of this workshop, we are focusing on Python. But you cannot
Okay.
just go into Python. We need to give us the basics of Excel because we'll be imputing some data like CSV data, which are data that
Okay.
are generated from Excel. That's why we are able
Okay.
to learn how we can enter data on Excel, create them, manipulate some data on Excel, and also save files in different format
Okay.
on Excel.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, am I able? Did anybody have question again? Bakari, I can see your mic is unmuted. Do you have any question?
No, I don't have any question, but I understand each and everything.
Okay, please mute yourself.
I understand each and everything, but I don't have any kind of question.
Okay, since no more questions from yesterday class, Miss Rama, you can set up and start today's class.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the fourth session in the 14 days data science workshop, and welcome to my second session. So I'm really excited to take this part of the workshop today. Yeah, we're going to do Python, and if you're excited to, please drop your favorite emoji. Let me see how many people like really want to learn how to code in Python. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so let us start. Let me start by sharing my screen. Thank you. Yeah. I can see like someone raising a hand. I think it's sorry. Let me see who's first on the queue. Okay, so Abubakar, please, what's your question?
What that was supposed to be a mistake because it was like I heard you saying that who are interested, and so I saw
Okay.
people. I was like kind of raised my hand, showing that I am interested in knowing it. I don't know whether if I
Okay, it's
didn't
fine. It's fine.
hear you correct. All right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you. So introduction to Python programming. So I put this picture here. It's a Python humor, the Python humor, but it might not be funny to you. Just I don't know. I put it because like it kind of really applies to the experience I had when I first started coding in Python. So I did not know that indentation was really important in Python. And I was just writing my lines of code anyhow, starting from any point, giving spaces anyhow, thinking since my statements were correct, then the code would run. And then I always had problem, and I didn't even like when I had like an error, I never understood what the error meant. And even if I took like my code to like professional programmers to correct for me, they're always like the code looked like really rough and it wasn't really easy to like correct. So I put it so like you have it at the back of your mind that indentation is very important in Python. You don't give spaces anyhow. When you start a new line, depending on what statement you're writing, or if it depends on the statement in the previous line, there is a specific place the statement is supposed to start, and you can't change that. If you change it, you would have problem with running your code. Yeah. So first, what is a program? A program is a sequence of operations that specify how to perform a computation, and the computation might be mathematical, such as solving a system of equations or finding the roots of a polynomial. It could be symbolic, such as searching or replacing a text in a document. It could also be graphical, like processing an image or video. Yeah, there are so many like programming languages, and yeah, let's talk about Python. So in order to run Python, you need to first download Python, install it on your computer. I think almost everyone should have done this since like the instructions were sent to the group. And you could also use IDEs such as VS Code or Google Colab, or you could also use Anaconda. Yeah, they still work really fine. And Python libraries. Okay. Python has libraries with large collection of mathematical functions and analytical tools. And some of the most used libraries for data science are Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn. So I don't know, I might not be able to give like a really constructive definition of a Python library, but it's just like a package with like predefined codes that that could do some kind of like complicated computation for you, for which like you don't have to do yourself. For instance, in NumPy, if you need to like multiply matrices, if you are to use like normal Python code, you need to write like lines of codes, and you need to organize like your statements to do like the whole multiplication process. But if you are to use like a package from like something from the NumPy package, you just do it with one line of code. Like it's already like a predefined function in the NumPy package. So the first program. So I heard the first program you write in a new language is usually hello world. And in Python, to display the words, you write print hello world. Yes, a second thing I wanted to say is Python is case sensitive. Capital letter A is different from small letter A. Like if you define something with like capital letters, you can't call the same thing with small letters. You wouldn't recognize it. So the same thing with the print statement. It's written in like lowercase letters. If you change any of the letters to an uppercase letter, you would have a problem. So you use lowercase print, print, then you put this parenthesis, and then you put your hello world inside, and then yes, and then the statement hello world would be displayed, and the print statement is used to display a result on the screen. Then arithmetic operations, Python provide operations which are symbols that represent computations like addition and multiplication. And yes, most common operations we have the addition. The addition has the same sign in Python. So if you need to sum 2 and 3, you just put 2 plus 3 the same way you would like write it if you were just writing a mathematical formula. Subtraction is also the same thing. Multiplication is done with this asterisk. Division is done with this slash, and then if you need to take powers, like 3 raised to the power of 2, then you use double asterisk. Yes, there's also when you want to divide a number and by another number, and you only need like the integer part of the result, you use double slash in that case. I forgot to put it here. And then values and types. So a value is one of the basic things a program works with, like a letter or a number. So examples of values are 2, hello world, true, 4.5, and these values have different types. 2 is an integer, and an integer in Python is usually, should I say denoted, or yeah, and if you like ask for the type of 2, the integer 2 in Python, then this is what you get, int, then 64. Yeah, then hello world is a string, and then 4.5 is a floating point number. It's a float, and true is a boolean, bool. Yes, but if you look at these values now, 2 with this what are these marks? Are they apostrophes, right? If you look at this 2 and 4.5 with like the apostrophes, you think they're also numbers, but Python doesn't identify them as numbers. They are actually strings because of this like signs they have like in the beginning and the end. Yeah, quotation marks, yeah. So variables, expressions, and statements. A variable is a name that refers to a value, and an assignment statement creates a new variable and gives it a value. So for instance, the number 17 is a value. So you could decide to name to give number 17 a name. Then the name n that you give to number 17 is now a variable. And this statement that you write, assigning 17 to n, is an assignment statement. So the first assignment statement here assigns the string something completely different to message. It assigns the number 17 to n, and it assigns 3.1422 to pi. Yes, variable names can be as long as you like. They can contain alphabets, numbers, but they cannot begin with like a number. So for instance, three boys, for example, is not a valid variable name if you start with the number 3. But if you start with alphabet and end with numbers, it's fine. Yes, it's okay to use uppercase letters, but I think it's conventional to use there's a mistake here. It's conventional to use lowercase letters. Yeah, that's it. I'm not supposed to have this line. So, but it is conventional to use only lowercase letters. And yes, the underscore character is allowed in like variable names, because you can't put like spaces between variable names. For instance, if you want to name your variable first message, you can't write first and then space and then message. So if you need to separate them, you use an underscore. I think special characters are also not allowed. And yes, I also wanted to talk about hash sign. How do I don't know if it's, let me type it somewhere by the side. Let me see, where can I type it? You can see my screen, right? Let me write something here. This sign, this is what I mean. Can you see what I typed here?
Make it bold. Make it bold.
Bold. Okay. Or maybe, sorry, let me use my notebook then. Can you see my screen now? This is the sign I mean. This sign.
Hash.
Is this still not bold?
We can see it is hash sign.
Yes. So whenever you see this sign, then any statement that comes after this sign is a comment.
Okay.
It doesn't Python doesn't run that line. It's a comment. So you can put anything you want on that line. It's fine. Yeah. Is this yeah. Yeah, and then it's also not allowed to use Python keywords as a variable name. For instance, true, false. Notice that when I write true, I start with capital letter. And I said Python is case sensitive. So whenever you need to write the statement true or false in Python, you don't start with small letter. It's like the first letter is an uppercase letter. So true, false, class, lambda, and def, they're all like Python keywords. So you're not allowed to name a variable with these words. And there are a lot more of like Python keywords. But one good thing is most times when you're writing in a Python environment, when you write a Python keyword, the color is usually different. So in case you didn't know it was a Python keyword, when you see that, like when you see the color, you would know that it's not possible for you to name a variable with that name. Yeah. So an expression is a combination of values, variables, and operators. Um, someone's microphone is not off, right? And a value all by itself is considered an expression. And a statement is a unit of code that has an effect like creating a variable or displaying a value. So this statement n is 17, print n, they're all statements. Yeah. And then string operators. So we saw, like in this slide, that we could do all of these operations for numbers. We could add, subtract, multiply, divide, and like take powers. But you might start to think, okay, what about string? Can I add 2 strings? Can I subtract 2 strings? So it happens that I think you can only add strings, and you can multiply a string by an integer. Yes, by an integer. So yes, in general, you can perform mathematical operations on strings, even if the strings look like numbers. But then you can use the addition operator to concatenate strings. So if you have like, you see this word truth is in quotation marks, so it's a string. It's actually, okay, that is, it's in usually when you define a string in Python, if whether it is like whether what you want to define as a string is like a number, or like it's a maybe bunch of symbols or alphabets, you usually begin and end in a quotation mark. So this is a string here, and we define it as first. So this is the variable name we give to truth, and we define wobbler as second. So we could sum first and second, and what we have is just the concatenated string truth wobbler. You'll see that I didn't put like the quotation marks here because I just wrote it in the way it's usually displayed when you run a Python code in the Python script. So it usually doesn't come with the quotation marks. Then this asterisk operator also works on strings, and it's used to perform repetition. For instance, the string spam multiplied by 3 is just concatenating spam 3 times. So we have spam, spam, spam. And then functions. So a function is a named sequence of statements that performs a computation. And when you define a function, you need to specify the name of the function, the sequence of statements, and then later you can call the function by name. Sometimes you also you might also need to specify the arguments that the function takes. Python has a lot of inbuilt functions which you can just call to perform the operation it performs for you. And examples of Python inbuilt functions are type. Type tells you the type of a value, or the type of a variable. This operator, this is also a Python inbuilt function int. When you put a string inside the operator int, it converts or it floats. Yes, or a string, it converts it into an integer for you. Same thing with floats. Python, you could like put an integer or a string, and you apply the function float on it, and it would convert it into a floating point number for you. And then adding new functions. So it is also possible to define your own function. So like there are a lot of Python inbuilt functions. So, but at times you would need to define like a function which does something that is kind of specific to you. You want to do something, and probably the function to do it does not exist. So you'd need to define your own function in that case. And a function definition specifies the name of a new function and the sequence of statements that run when the function is called. So here's an example of how to define a function. So this is a keyword, def, DEF. It's what is used to define a function. So you first put DEF, and then print lyrics is what's like is the name of the function we're trying to define. So when we want to call this function, we're going to call it by print lyrics. And then we have this we have the brackets with nothing inside because this function doesn't take any arguments. So the first statement we have in print lyrics is the first statement we have in print lyrics is print I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay, print. And then we have the second statement, print I sleep all night and I work all day. And yes, once you have defined a function, you can use it inside another function. So for instance, we can use this function inside this new function, repeat lyrics. So we define the function with the same way as we did here. we first put the Python keyword def, and then we put the name of the function repeat lyrics, and then excuse me, just give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. So sorry about that. So we define repeat lyrics, a new function, and inside this function, we call the previous function we defined print lyrics, and we called it twice. And this is how like you call a function. You just write the name of the function, and because this doesn't have any arguments, we just put the brackets with nothing inside. So now we can call the function repeat lyrics. So what happens when we call the function repeat lyrics? What happens is Python comes here and say, okay, how was the function repeat lyrics defined? So the first thing we do in repeat lyrics is to call the function print lyrics. So it will go back here and see, okay, what is print lyrics? Print lyrics prints this string. I'm a lumberjack. Okay, sorry. Let me use print lyrics first prints this slide, I'm a lumberjack, and then prints I sleep all night and sleep all day. So that's why we have it here. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. And because we call the function twice, that is why we have these two lines repeated. And then flow of execution. Execution is just the order in which statements run. So when you have like a Python code. Mama, sorry for the distraction. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, so the flow of execution is the order in which statements run, and execution always begins from the first statement, and each statement is like statements are run one at a time in order from top to bottom. So so you have like a big chunk of code. Python just starts from the first line and like reads the code line by line. And so like, for instance, if you define a function in, let me say, if you define a variable in maybe the third line of your code, and you use that variable and like you kind of call that variable in the first line of your code, then you would have a problem, because Python would not go and look for the variable like below the first line before coming back to the first line to know what it means. So yeah, you have to be really careful with like how you define your let me say how you arrange your statements. The one to be okay, maybe I'll explain better later. Let me say so function definition do not alter the flow of execution of the program, but the statements inside the function don't run until the function is called. What this means is, if you define a function in your Python code and you run like your Python code. When Python gets to the line where the function is defined, it doesn't run what is inside the function. It just keeps whatever is inside and continue to run the lines that are after the function definition until the function is called, and then Python goes back to the function definition and then runs the lines inside the function. Parameters and arguments. The functions we defined above takes no arguments, and we could also define a function which takes one or more arguments. For example, let's define this function print twice. So we use the same keyword def. That's what is always used to define a function, def, and then we have print twice, and then we have word. So word here is the argument we are taking. And what does the function do? Print word, and the function assigns the argument to a parameter named word, and when the function is called, it prints the value of word, whatever it is, twice. And this function works with any value that can be printed. So okay. So for example, if we take word to be spam, and then we call the function print twice of word, what happens? Python comes and puts spam here. So what do we do with spam inside the function? We print spam, and then we print spam again. So that's why the output will be spam and then spam. So alternatively, we could just write print twice spam. We don't have to predefine the variable word and then apply the function of word on word. We could just apply the function and the value directly. That's spam. So it produces the same output. And what here doesn't have to be a string. It could be like anything. And Python just like, the output would just be like anything we put here would be displayed twice. So for instance, if you have print twice 2, then it gives the output 2 and 2. Yeah, so I want us to note that variables and parameters are local. So if you define a variable inside a function, then it doesn't exist outside that function. I would shed more light on that later. I think this is a mistake. I'm not supposed to have this here. Yeah. Okay. I think this is not the final. Yeah. I started to put some references. I'm not yet done, but I would update it and send to you later. These are like some references where I got like most of the things I put on my slides. Yeah. And yes, we have a few minutes left. So I wanted to do a little bit of some Python. Yeah. I organized a little bit of some Python code to do today. I don't know, maybe we could do something before, maybe in the next 9 minutes, and then it will be time to ask questions. So okay, I think let me close this notebook and open it again from the. But I don't know. It was explained in the afternoon how like to open a Jupyter notebook. So I believe everyone should know how to open like a Jupyter notebook on their system. So maybe I don't have to do it. So yes, on my Jupyter notebook, what do I have first? I have the first line. Can you see my screen? Is it like is it bold or is it too tiny?
Please build your screen. It's too tiny.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yeah, it's better like this.
Okay, so we have our first line of code here. Sorry, let me see. Let me clear all the output so we go line by line. So yes, so we have our first line of code here, print hello world. And when you run this line, this is okay. I don't know if I have to. Okay, here, file. This is when you want to like open a new file. Maybe if you need to open a new notebook or any like if it's Python file you want to open, or Markdown file. And like the options are here. You could do like a bunch of things here. And then here, if you need to do edit some things in your cells, then this is the button for that. And then view, yeah, not really. I don't know. This is where for this, if you need to select which cell you want to run, or however you want to run the cells. And then this is for the kernel. If you need to restart kernel, yeah, there are so many options here. And then this is for settings and help. And then yeah, this button in particular is when you want to run a code. When you write your line of code, this is to run a code, and this is to when you want to stop. So print hello world, and then I run, and then I have hello world. It's been displayed here. And then next line here, I'm assigning the value 2 to x, and then I run this, and then I have 2 displayed. X is 2. Okay, sorry. You might notice that I might not, you might notice that sometimes I do not write the word print, and the value is being displayed. Like in Jupyter Notebook, the last variable, on the last line, if you put a variable name on the last line, and like if it's a printable value, then it prints it out for you. You do not need to write print. But if like there's something else you need to print before that statement, then you'd have to write print. Otherwise, for instance, if I had like y is 5, and then I put y here, then if I run this line, y would not be displayed unless if I put the print statement, print y. Yes, but if I put y also on the last line, then it would be displayed, yeah, as a tuple. And then this next line of code is taking powers, exponentiation. X is 2, and 2 raised to the power of 3 is 8. And then on this next line, string 1 is stay, string 2 is happy, and then this is concatenation of strings. So string 1 plus string 2. And then this is repetition, string 2 raised to the power of 3. This will just repeat string 2 3 times. And if we run this box, we have string 1 plus string 2. If we concatenate them, it's stay happy. And then string 2 times 3 is happy, happy, happy. And then this next is, yes, we have what we call Python lists. Python list is just like you list values inside. It's usually created with first you need to use the square brackets to create a list, and it can contain strings or integers or like string or numbers, and each element in the list is usually separated with a comma. Yes, so and lists have like a lot of nice properties, okay, one of it, which is, for instance, here we have the first list to be this, and then we have list 2 to be this, and list 1 plus list 2, if we run this, would be yes, would be the first list concatenated with the second list. So we could also use this multiplication operator on a list, and what it does is to like repeat, just like it does for a string. So if we run this line, sorry, what did I run? This is one. So if we run this box of code, then we have the list 1, which is A, B, C, D. We have it repeated twice because it's times 2. And then yes, if you need to access any element in a list, what you do is each element in a list is given an index, and the first element is given index 0, the second is given index 1, the third is given 2, the fourth is given 3, until you get like to the last element in a list. So if you need to access the element in the first element in list 1, then You say list 1, then you put the square brackets, and then you put a 0 inside. And yeah, we have it to be A. Then yes, list. You can also replace a value inside your list. So what you need to do is to specify the position of that value, and then you set it to be equal to the new value you want it to be. So here, list 1 of 1 is the second element in list 1, because the index 0 is the first element, index 1 is the second element. So it means we are going to replace this this value B with the value E. So if we if we display list 1 again, we see that the value B in list 1 has been replaced with the value E. And then you could also create a list by first creating a range of numbers, and then you apply the Python inbuilt function list to this range, and then let's see what we have here. So range is usually, whenever you want to define a range of number in Python, you need to specify the where you want the range to start from, the first element, and then you put a comma, and then you define the last element, and then you put like the increments. So here we have the first element to be 1, and then the increment is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, and 7 plus 2 is 9. And 9 is the last number here, because like it's the one that we need to stop at 10. And the last number you put here, the range doesn't get to that point. So even if number 10 fits into this criterion, it would not be put inside the list, because the last term is usually not put in the list. And yeah, no, yes. Then I don't know, how many minutes more do I have? Let me see. Yeah, so maybe I'll stop here, and yeah, we'll continue tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rama. Please, I don't know for the issue of attendance. I'm still having issues with. I don't know if it's from my side. Please, somebody should try it from his own side. Thank you, Rama. That's a very wonderful presentation.
Yeah, I've filled the attendance already.
Sorry, what issue are you having with the attendance?
So me, I filled the attendance already.
I also filled my attendance.
If you have an issue with the attendance,
Please, I have a question.
just try and refresh and try it again. So, please, is there any question regarding what we have done today?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, please proceed.
So please, I didn't get the explanation of the NumPy relationship with Python. The NumPy, I didn't get the explanation properly, and others related to it.
Well, today is not about NumPy, but NumPy deals with array. When you're working with numbers, when you have and the list contains descending and ascending values, like maybe you have 1, 5, 3, 2, like make it one by one. So that's array. NumPy deals with array. You understand?
Sorry, my network is very poor. I don't know if it's from my side. I can't hear you at all.
Sorry, can I? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, but it seems the voice is breaking.
Hello.
Hello,
We
the
can hear
voice is
you.
breaking. We can hear you, but the voice is
Okay, like
breaking. If
this.
you can try to move to where there is signal.
Is it breaking like this?
It's okay like this.
Okay, so I mean, you are asking question regarding array, numpy. When you're dealing with an array is like numbers. Let's say you have a descending and ascending number. Like maybe you have numbers like 1, 3, 500, 200, 500, 10, 5, something like that. So when you're working with that kind of list or kind of array, it is better for you to use numpy, because numpy from the word numeric, that's where we numeric python, that's where we drag the word numpy. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
any
again,
other question?
sorry, I was actually hoping to see, like, for the Jupiter, the entire I usually get confused, the console, and I don't really understand the way that Jupiter works.
Well, we'll still do the real practical. We are just trying to show you how Python how Jupyter really works.
Okay, so that means basically the Jupiter is hardly to differentiate between the console and the interpreter.
A console and interpreter. So it's like how will I put it? How will I put it? Console is like a place where you can run your programming language. Interpreter is like you trying to convert your high level language to a low level language so that your system can understand. In a console and an interpreter, so they are doing different work. They are not doing the same thing.
Okay,
Question.
actually I mean I was hoping to see like a different page where you write the code, and different place where it
To
actually
that,
runs.
we are still coming to that. We are just showing you how Python really works. We are still coming to that.
Okay.
Just come with us. Just follow us.
Can I ask my question now?
Yeah, I am MY Jimad. Are you done with your question?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, you can just put down your hand if we've answered your question. Okay, please proceed. Please proceed.
Okay, my question, I want to direct it to Rahma. Thank you
Okay.
for the presentation. It was very educative and interactive. My question is regarding that how to define a function. So I don't really get that, but like you are defining a function, your own function. So I
Yes.
don't understand that part. I don't really understand that part. I understand that Python has those inbuilt functions, the string methods, all the other functions. But you defining your own function, I don't understand how it works. And does it have a particular syntax of how to define your own function? And if possible, if you can go to Jupyter and run, give us an example.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Like for instance, assume you're asked to um you're given a function, maybe f of x is x, you know what a quadratic equation is, right? Maybe ax squared plus bx plus c.
Yeah.
And for instance, you want to compute what is f of 5. Then in that case, you can use a Python, you can define your own function that would accept any value and compute what f of 5 is for that value. And let's let us define. Okay, I stopped sharing already. Let me share again. Let me let me let me see. Let me define it here. So we want to calculate the function. Sorry, let me see if I can. Okay, we want to define the function f. and we want the function f to accept integers. Let's say x, and okay. I just remembered. I think I had a typo in what I put on the slides. I didn't put this colons. So you want this function to calculate when you put an integer, you want to calculate say 5 times x, and then you have this, you have squared, and then you have plus maybe 3 times x. Apologies, I will check the brackets now. I'm coming, plus maybe 25. Yeah, need to have a bracket here. And then so I think I need to have a bracket here to be on the safe side. Yeah, so and then in this case, because we need to return a value, when like when you give me an x, I need to give you back what f of x is. So there is the part where we put return, and what do we need to return? Y, this variable y that we defined inside here. So yes, we are done with defining the function. This is how you define. It's always def, and then f is the function you're defining, and then x is the argument it takes. And whenever I give it an argument, what does it do to this argument? It squares. It takes like 5x squared plus 3x plus 25, and then usually when there is a value here, this y also becomes like a number, and then this return says that, okay, this number we have here is what should be returned. So if we need to call the function now, we could say, okay, print f of 14. Okay. So 14 here is our x, and 14 is what will be used anywhere x is inside here. And then the value for 14, the value for y when 14 is here is what we're going to get. So let's see what we have. So this is it, 1047. So like Python cannot cater for every function that would exist. There will be so many cases where you need to define your own function, because there's something you want to do that there's no like built-in function that does like that exact thing you want. So you have to define it in your own way. And it's always this way: define, you put the name of your function and what it accepts, and you put your formula inside the definition. I hope I answered your question.
I think maybe we will go further. I will try to imitate what you did and read more. Maybe before tomorrow, if I have other questions regarding that, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Please, I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, I was asked when you are defining the function, must there be a return statement?
Well, there mustn't be a return statement actually. There mustn't be a return statement. You could also, okay, let me share again. You could also, let me see. We could also like put a print here. But at times, like you want to define a function, but you do not want, like anytime you call that function, you do not need the value to be printed. Because if you put like a print here, we could put print here, and then we don't put the return. And and we call f of 14, and it should be printed like automatically f of 14, because when we define the function, we said that, okay, my voice is echoing, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so
There's echo.
you said my voice is echoing, right?
Yes.
Is it still echoing?
Better
No.
now.
Okay, so like the difference is here. Anytime you call this function, it automatically prints what you have here. But at times we just need it to return a value for you without like doing any further steps. You just need it to return a value, like it holds that value for you, and then you can call that not necessarily a value, you need it to return something for you, and then so that you can use that thing sometime along in your code. I don't know how to say this. Do you understand like what I mean?
But the return statement, must it be the result?
No, you're the one that would select what you want it to return. For instance, when we define this function here, it could have been possible that, okay, we said maybe we defined c to be equal to maybe we said c is equal to this, and then we said, okay, d is equal to this, and then we could have like return d. We could ask to only return, and if we ask to print f of 14, you just get the value of d. Like you could do like a whole lot of things inside your function, and then in the return statement, you just ask it to return what you need. Whatever you ask for is given.
Okay, but the return statement can you return a computed statement, like a computed value like c times d? Is it possible?
Yes, you could have c. Okay, yeah. I think you could have return c times d. I think it should work. Yes. Do you see the difference?
Okay.
Like you can choose any, like you can put anything as what you want as your return value. You can even say, okay, return c times d, and then you have c, and then you have d again. Whatever whatever you request for is what you would be given.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
Please, am I allowed to ask question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. If someone says that a list is mutable and tuple is immutable, what does that mean?
Yeah, it means you can do changes to a list, but you can't do changes to a tuple. So we've not talked about tuples here, but sorry, okay, maybe I just leave my screen shared until all the questions have been answered. But if you look at what we did here, I replaced a term in the list, a value in the list 1, this value B. I replaced it with E, and then I have like the list. I have the list 1, but with the second value replaced with what I asked it to be. But part of what I plan to do tomorrow, here I defined like a tuple, and then if I remove this comment sign and I try to do the same thing here, I try to change the first element in this tuple with this new list, but it doesn't work. Oh no, sorry. Let me run. Oh no. So let's see. Yeah, you see that I have an error here that tuple object does not support item assignment. So I cannot replace so I cannot replace like this elements with like a new element. So that's what it means that lists are mutable while tuples are not. Once you define a tuple, you can't
All
change
right,
any
thank you, ma'am.
value, but you can change like values for lists. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other question. I think Mustafa is raising his hands. Does Mustafa have a question?
Hello. If you have question, please ask now. Okay. Khadija Zubeiru have question. You can go ahead and ask your question. Hello, Khadija, we can't hear what you're saying.
Hello, no sir, I don't have question.
Okay. Out of Mustafa, do you still have question or all the question you want to ask? They have answered the question. They have answered the questions. Okay. Since no more question, I don't know if Mr. Rama want to have anything to say so that we just end today's class.
I think there's nothing more I would have to add. Maybe maybe I would only say you could all practice like the things we did today. It's not a lot. It's just how to print like some basic stuff. But understanding the basics is really helpful and would really be helpful in understanding like the complex stuff we're going to do later. Yucha Uridwan, I think just raised his hand.
Okay. I think these people raising their hand. If you please go ahead. I can see Zubai. I can see Zuwairiya Suleiman
Yes,
is
sir.
raising her hand.
Yes, sir.
Do you have
Good
any
evening.
question?
Yes, I have. Even though most of my questions have been answered here, I'm glad. But the last question I want to ask is, assuming that we have string one and string two, and we want to add string one and string two. So the output I see normally is there is no space between the two words. So if we need space, even though that I heard that you said we can use, is it lower, not lower? Um, what do we normally use for space? That is spacing the two words. What can we use to space the
Ah,
two words if you have
that,
string one and string two?
that's for variable name. That's for variable name. Um,
Okay, okay,
like for
okay.
instance, here I could put like here underscore here, but for like, well, for the strings themselves, you can
Mm,
put anything inside.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
as far as they're inside this quotation marks, it's fine. But for
Mm.
the variable names, you can't put a space
Yes,
if you
for
define string.
example, yes, if there's this happy, 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 if I want them to be, if I want it to have a space between them, where can I put the underscore?
Well, there are three things you can do, not underscore. There are different ways you can go about it. One is you could decide to put a space here in string two,
Okay,
and if we run this, what line am I on? Oh no, sorry. Oh wait, supposed to no. I don't know if a space does that. I think a space probably doesn't count then. Then one way you can do it is, for instance, if you're to sum, you could sum this with this, and then you have let me see this. Yes, and then you have a space here. And for
okay.
this, if you need to raise it to the power of 3, I think Yusuf should answer this because I thought putting a space here should reflect here.
But I thought you said we cannot use space in Python.
No, this is not a variable name.
Okay.
It's not a variable name.
Yes, it's not.
Yes, you can't use space in like for a variable name, or for the
Mm,
variables, but for the values you can use space. It's
okay,
fine. Yes.
it's okay.
Mm.
Thank you.
Any other person? Mustafa Ibrahim Bello, you can go ahead and ask your question. But if there is no question again, I think we have come to the end of today's class. Also, the task, everything, the practical aspect of today's class and the slide we forward to the WhatsApp platform so that today's practical we can go through it ourselves and also learn. The way we attempt yesterday class that we practice ourselves and also share with us and also share on social media. We also want that for today's class also. Before tomorrow morning or first thing tomorrow morning, the data, the materials, and the practical will be sent to the group. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you.